You know, when you are walking down a new street, like looking for a place to eat, you make these instant judgments.
Oh, absolutely. You're constantly scanning for signals.
Right. You see one place, and it has got a clearly painted sign, a menu displayed right by the door, and you can actually see people inside enjoying their meals.
It feels safe. You know exactly what you're getting into.
Exactly. But then, right next door is just this plain door. Maybe there's a flickering bulb, no sign, no menu, but someone is standing in the doorway literally yelling about today's specials.
Yeah, I'm definitely not walking into that second place.
Right. You just wouldn't. But online, millions of businesses and creators are doing exactly that. Today, we are taking a deep dive into a really fascinating dual profile analysis from May 2026 to figure out why one Facebook account is essentially a worthless digital scrapbook and another is, well, quietly minting money.
It is such a critical distinction to make right now because the mechanics of digital value have shifted so dramatically recently. We are analyzing a social profile influencer employability assessment that was published on Right.s.
And it is incredibly detailed.
It really is. This assessment uses a very rigid framework to compare two vastly different profiles. And the core of this analysis hinges on a four-part employability test that brands and algorithms are currently using to assign literal monetary value to your digital footprint.
Yeah, to even get a seat at the table, an account has to clear minimum thresholds in 3 basic variables plus a brand new fourth one.
Yeah.
So you have got reach, which is just your audience size,
Hmm.
then resonance, measuring engagement quality, and relevance, which is the clarity of your niche.
Right.
If we go back to that restaurant analogy, reach is the foot traffic walking past your building.
Mm-hmm.
Resonance is how many of those people actually sit down, eat the food, and leave a review. And relevance is your specific cuisine.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be a vegan steakhouse sushi joint and expect people to understand what you do.
No, you really can't. That structural clarity is what the algorithm craves. But the fourth variable, which is incredibly crucial for 2026, is the platform verification signal. We are talking about the blue tick status.
Which, for the longest time was just a vanity metric. It was just something celebrities had so you knew you weren't following a fan page.
It was, yeah, but the underlying technology has fundamentally changed. Verification is now an algorithmic variable tied directly to API distribution rules.
Wait, how so?
Well, the platforms are dealing with an overwhelming amount of AI-generated spam and bot traffic right now. Processing all that noise requires massive computational power. So, when an account gets meta-verified, they prove they are a unique human with a government ID and a payment method.
Ah,
The platform essentially says, okay, we don't need to run our heavy bot filtering algorithms on your content. As a reward for saving them computational load, Meta literally gives verified packets priority in the feed algorithm. The blue tick lowers the friction for pushing your content to new users.
okay. So keeping with our restaurant, that verification is basically the A-grade health inspector certificate right in the window. It clears you of being a health hazard before anyone even takes a bite.
That is a perfect way to look at it.
And to see what happens when you ignore every single one of these variables, we're going to look at the first profile in this assessment. It is Reverie Banquets. And the verdict on this one is just brutal.
Very brutal. It gets a 1 out of 10 employability score and a market price of exactly 0 rupees.
Ouch.
Yeah, it is a perfect case study in digital invisibility. So, Reverie Banquets is a wedding and events venue operating in Rajahmundry. The fatal flaw here isn't their business, though. It is their structural implementation.
Right.
This is a local B2B and B2C commercial entity masquerading on the network as a personal Facebook profile. They are even operating under a generic numeric ID in their URL string like 615-7474-834-7639 instead of a custom brand handle.
Which tells Google and Meta's search crawlers that this is an unoptimized low-tier node. It is the digital equivalent of that flickering light bulb we talked about.
Exactly, and the metrics reflect that completely. The followers are either totally hidden or sitting at a 0 base. The bio is empty. There are only 2 visible posts on the entire timeline.
2 posts.
Yeah, and the resonance is critically low. They got exactly 1 single insert, like on their main event post. The analysts did note they had decent event photography, and they actually used the correct hashtags like hashtag Rever Banquets and hashtag Rajahmundry events, but applying good photography to the wrong structural foundation yields absolutely nothing.
I mean, I feel a little bad for them, honestly.
Yeah.
That long numeric ID suggests the account was probably created fairly recently, maybe in late 2025. Shouldn't we cut a local business owner some slack? They're probably just trying to figure out how to get their event hall online.
I get that, but the algorithm doesn't possess empathy, unfortunately. The source brings up a vital concept regarding this exact scenario, and that is opportunity cost.
Okay.
The hours this business owner is spending building out a personal profile to promote a commercial venue is actual value destruction.
Wait, value destruction. Are they really hurting themselves or just, not growing as fast as they could?
No, they are actively hurting their reach. Let's look at the mechanism. Meta's algorithm utilizes advanced image recognition and natural language processing, or NLP.
Right.
When the AI scans this profile, it registers it as a personal human node. But then the NLP reads the text and sees promotional syntax, event bookings, venue details. The image recognition sees large, empty banquet halls instead of human faces.
So the system gets confused.
Yes, the system detects a massive mismatch. Meta wants commercial entities to pay for business ads. They do not want businesses getting free reach through personal networks. So when the system detects a business operating a personal profile, it initiates an artificial reach suppression protocol. It shadow bans the content.
Oh, wow. It's like building a billboard in a tunnel where no cars are allowed to drive. The algorithm has actively shut down the road.
Exactly.
So that one, they probably isn't because the photo of the venue is bad, but because the platform just refused to show it to anyone else.
Which is why the turnaround plan provided for Reverie Banquets focuses entirely on structural repair. Step 1 is immediate. Convert that personal profile into a proper Facebook business page.
Just flip the switch.
Right, because that single action stops the algorithmic penalty. They are finally operating in the correct structural category.
Getting the proper zoning permits for the restaurant, basically.
From there, the recommendation is to increase post frequency to a minimum of 3 times a week. The content needs to be event photos and client testimonials to build social proof.
Which makes sense.
But organic reach from 0 is incredibly slow, so step 3 is the catalyst. Run a 500 to 1,000 rupee boosted post targeting the specific Rajamundry locality.
Ah, a local paid injection to essentially force the algorithm to deliver those first few hundred eyeballs.
Yes, they seed the initial follower base much faster than just hoping for organic discovery. After that, the assessment recommends taking a step back, letting the strategy work, and reassessing in 90 days once they cross the 500 follower mark.
Okay, so Reverie Banquets is effectively invisible because they just don't know what they are in the network. But what happens when an account knows exactly who they are down to the most granular level?
It changes everything.
Yeah, that is where we see the flip side of this equation with our second profile. This one proves that the obsession with having millions of followers is completely outdated if you actually understand your niche.
Yes, we are looking at Nil Akav, operating out of Hyderabad. The assessment scores him a very healthy 6.5 out of 10 and explicitly classifies him as employable at the nano influencer tier.
His follower count is really fascinating to me. He has 4,800 followers, but he selectively follows only 4 people. That ratio isn't an accident, is it?
Not at all. It is what we call trust architecture. When a brand or an algorithm looks at an account with 4,800 followers that follows 5,000 people, the assumption is that the user is a follow-back farmer.
Right, someone just gaming the system by following anyone in the hopes they follow back.
Exactly. By following almost no one, Anil proves his audience is there entirely for his output.
And he clears that 4th hurdle we spent time on earlier. He has the meta-verified blue tick. So he has the trust architecture of his follower ratio paired with the algorithmic distribution boost of being a verified human. The pipes are completely clear for his content to flow.
Furthermore, his relevant score is incredibly sharp. He operates in a high-value, underserved niche, which is Telugu language entrepreneurship.
That is super specific.
It is. He is delivering business and mindset content in a regional language directly to a Tier 1 market audience in Hyderabad.
We do need to look at the totality of his content pillars, though. Because alongside the entrepreneurship focus, the assessment notes he posts a significant amount of civic and social commentary, specifically regarding Telangana politics.
Yes, he does.
And just to be totally clear to you listening, we are looking at this strictly as a data point. We are completely impartial here. We aren't taking sides or endorsing any political viewpoints on his account.
Right, we are just looking at the mechanics of it.
Exactly. And mechanically, tapping into that intense regional pride is exactly what supercharges his comment section.
It creates a powerful feedback loop. Political and civic identity are high arousal emotions. When he posts about regional developments, it drives massive user interaction. The algorithm sees that high engagement, categorizes him as a highly relevant creator for that region, and then uses that momentum to push his entrepreneurship content further into the feed.
Let's talk about the math on that engagement, because resonance is where this really clicks into place for him.
The assessment provides the exact engagement math. Across his recent content, Anil averages between 77 and 99 plus reactions per post, 7 to 18 comments, and crucially, 2 to 6 shares per post.
And shares are huge.
Shares are the highest weighted interaction in the current algorithm because they actively expand the network graph. When you calculate all of that against his 4,800 followers, his baseline engagement rate sits at approximately 1.83%.
Wait, okay, a 1.83% engagement rate sounds tiny. Like if I get 2 likes on 100 followers, I feel like I'm talking to a wall. How is that considered a massive success?
You have to look at it through the lens of industry benchmarks. The denominator problem really plagues massive accounts. If an influencer with 10 million followers had a 1.83% engagement rate, they would be pulling in 183,000 interactions on every single post.
Which is insane.
Right, and that almost never happens because algorithmic reach decays as audience size grows. The standard benchmark for Facebook nano influencers right now is an engagement rate between 1.5% and 3.5%. So Anil is sitting perfectly within the highly monetizable, healthy range.
So he has a highly active, highly tuned-in audience that actually cares what he has to say. And when we look at how he delivers that message, it's clear he treats his personal profile like a multi-format media company.
Oh, absolutely.
He isn't just dropping text updates. He is actively utilizing Reels, mixing in memes, real estate promotional content, and lifestyle posts. He even set up his cover photo to show a professional podcast or interview setup, complete with Telugu text. He is explicitly signaling to his audience and to the AI that he is a professional creator.
Format diversity is a major signal. Text posts give him depth and high retention time for readers. Reels give him viral reach and tap into the short-form video algorithm. And that podcast cover photo establishes immediate authority. It is textbook execution for someone optimizing the nano tier.
Okay, so here is the real question. How does a 1.83% engagement rate, speaking to a hyper-specific regional niche of under 5,000 people, translate to actual revenue in May 2026?
Well, the assessment lays out the specific market pricing estimates for Indian Facebook influencers operating in Anil's exact bracket. And it is incredibly revealing regarding the current state of digital marketing.
Let's hear the numbers.
For a simple 24-hour story mention, his market rate is between 1,000 and 2,500 rupees.
Just for a temporary image that disappears in a day.
Yes, because it taps into his most dedicated daily viewers. For a permanent, single-sponsored post just text and an image, he can command 2,000 to 5,000 rupees. If a brand wants him to produce a custom Facebook reel, that price jumps to 3,500 to 8,000 rupees.
The premium on video is just huge.
Video commands a higher cost per mil, or CPM, because the retention rates are longer, and it allows for much better brand recall. If they want a dedicated content series of 3 posts, the pricing sits between 8,000 and 18,000 rupees.
Wow.
And if a brand wants to lock him in as a monthly ambassador, they are looking at a retainer of 15,000 to 35,000 rupees.
A monthly retainer of up to 35,000 rupees for an account with under 5,000 followers. That completely shatters the legacy idea that you need 50 or 100,000 followers to see any real money.
It is entirely about the synergy between his highly specific audience and the brands trying to reach them. The source identifies perfect commercial fits for his Telugu entrepreneur demographic. We are talking about fintech and investment applications specifically targeting the Telangana market.
Which makes perfect sense.
EdTech platforms focusing on regional upskilling, Telugu OTT streaming platforms looking for subscriber growth.
They even mention local hospitality, which is honestly a hilarious crossover with our first profile. Like, Revuri Banquets should take that 1,000 rupees they were going to spend on boosted posts and just pay Anil for a story mention to promote their venue in the region.
It would be a vastly more efficient use of their capital, frankly.
Well, hold on, though. I have to play devil's advocate here for a second. We're talking about thousands of rupees, but he still only has 4,800 followers.
Right.
If I am a major national brand, I'm not even looking at you until you cross 10,000, right?
Right.
And the assessment spotted him doing a promotional reel for Jachirla plots like local real estate. How do we know those real estate promos didn't artificially inflate his follower numbers through paid ads or barter deals? What if that 1.83% organic engagement is just a mirage?
That is a fair question, and the analyst addresses this exact counter-argument in the self-check section of the report. To answer your first point, Yes, the 10,000 follower threshold is a very real hard barrier in the marketing industry. It currently limits his brand pool primarily to regional startups and local advertisers. He is not going to secure a deal with a massive multinational FMCG brand today.
You just see the scale he doesn't have yet.
Precisely. However, the fear of artificial inflation is mitigated by his structural data. We go back to the trust architecture. The combination of his meta-verified blue tick and his ultra-low following count of just 4 people is a massive verifiable signal of authenticity.
Oh, I see.
Artificial accounts, or those grown purely through paid spam, simply do not look like that structurally.
Right.
If a real estate company ran paid ads to inflate his numbers, the engagement rate would plummet because bots don't leave thoughtful comments on Telugu entrepreneurship posts.
That is true. Bots just leave generic emojis.
Exactly. A nil structure points to organic, highly authentic growth. A regional brand can trust that those 4,800 followers are real humans invaded in his perspective.
So the quality of the house completely outweighs the size of the footprint. And because he is primed for actual sustainable growth, the assessment outlines a strategic action plan for his next moves. The immediate recommendation is to pitch sponsored podcast segments to regional brands, specifically those edtech and fintech companies we mentioned.
Since we know he has the podcast set up based on his cover photo, he absolutely needs to leverage it. Audio and video integration carries that higher premium we discussed, and it separates him from text-only creators.
But his primary mission over the next 6 to 9 months is to hit that 10,000 follower threshold. That is the magic number that removes the regional ceiling and unlocks national brand minimums. To get there, the source recommends what they call an ultimate leverage move.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah, launch a weekly Telugu entrepreneur podcast directly natively on Facebook.
This is a category of one strategy. The Telugu entrepreneurship niche is currently undersupplied on the platform. Facebook is desperate to keep users away from YouTube and Spotify, so their algorithm heavily subsidizes the reach of native, high-retention video podcasts.
Oh, so he gets an algorithmic tailwind.
Exactly. By creating a consistent, high-production weekly show, Anil stops competing with general lifestyle influencers. He becomes the undisputed, authoritative voice for that specific demographic. It accelerates his path to 10K while allowing him to charge premium integration rates for the podcast itself.
It's a masterclass in treating your digital presence as a tangible business asset. It is not just a place to post vacation photos anymore. It is a structural node in a massive economy. And, that brings all this directly back to you, listening right now.
Yeah.
Think about your own digital footprint. Whether you are running a small local business, actively trying to build an audience, or just casually posting thoughts online, the internet is constantly calculating your employability score. It is looking at your structural choices. Are you a commercial entity trying to sneak through on a personal page? It is analyzing your engagement loops, your verification signals, and most importantly, the clarity of your identity. You are being scored, categorized, and priced right now, whether you realize it or not.
And that leads us to a broader, perhaps slightly unsettling conclusion regarding where this is all heading. We have spent this deep dive looking at how a human analyst grades social profiles for market value today in 2026.
Right.
But as artificial intelligence becomes further integrated into the core architecture of every business, marketing firm, and hiring department, are we rapidly approaching a reality where our social profiles function entirely as our digital resumes?
Oh, man.
A reality where you are judged, scored, and priced by cold algorithms before a human partner, sponsor, or employer ever even sees your face or hears your voice.
It is a wild thought. You might not even get the chance to stand in the doorway of your restaurant and yell the daily specials because the algorithm has already taken your storefront off the map for failing a structural check. It is absolutely something to think about the next time you hit post. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the mechanics of the digital world around you. Make sure your digital sign is turned on and properly coded, and we will catch you next time.